On February 13, 2019, after a final attempt to re-establish contact, NASA officials announced the formal end of the Opportunity rover's 15-year mission to Mars. Mired in dust on the afternoon of June 10, 2018, NASA's Opportunity rover received a final command from Earth. Take a photo of the sun. The Deep Space Network sang in code. Send telemetry. The rover's cameras could barely see through all the swirling dust, which had been blown aloft by a planet-spanning storm. The sky was darkening, and Opportunity's batteries, powered by sunlight, were draining. The reply was grim. The last transmitted image showed solar radiation was 1/40th its pre-storm level. Power was low, just 22 watt-hours, down from a normal 300 watt-hours on the solar panels. That's enough to run a typical food processor for about 5 minutes. Minders on Earth prepare to let Opportunity hunker down for the dust storm. The worst event ever witnessed in the more than 4 decades robots have been occupying Mars. On June 10, the rover woke up briefly, but its energy was too low to send a message home, and it fell silent. In the following weeks, Opportunity would grow cold. Everyone hoped that once the winds died down and the Martian skies cleared, the solar panels could charge enough to rouse the rover and prompt it to call home. So Opportunity waited, and everyone who cares about it also waited while Mars calmed down. Finally, in September, came good news from the other side of the planet. Orbiters and the Curiosity rover saw the atmosphere clearing, yet Opportunity lay silent. People at NASA began trying to wake it up. By January 22, they had sent 600 recovery commands. These lines of code cannot, by design, be plaintive, but humans can, and many of them started sending messages of their own. The messages were as much to one another as to the rover, and they were largely the same. Wake up, Oppie. Come back. Oppie did not. Last week, NASA officials announced a new set of commands were being beamed to the still silent rover, instructing it, pleading with it, really, to reset its clock and cycle through its radio antennas. But even optimists admit this last-ditch effort has a low probability of success. Very soon, it seems, the agency will be forced to declare the rover's mission complete, and the storied Mars Exploration Rover program officially over. Opportunity has endured for 15 years on the red planet, 61 times longer than its 90-day warranty. In NASA's family of interplanetary explorers, Opportunity will be survived by its rover descendant, Curiosity, as well as its cousin, the InSight lander. It has been preceded in death by its closest kin, its twin, Spirit. As they grappled with the growing certainty that the rover had met its end, several of the mission's scientists and engineers were philosophical, even celebratory in their measured optimism. But their sadness is palpable. You can always look back and say, this is a rover that way outlived her expectations and accomplished a lot. But that doesn't make the grief go away, said Mark Lemon, an atmospheric scientist at the Space Science Institute. It's odd to think about grief being associated with a machine, but it's part of our lives. We worry about it, we think about its power, its usage of energy, like a care and feeding kind of thing. It's not just a piece of machinery. It's obviously is that, but also something that's connected to everybody. We've gone through 15 years of living our lives with operating the rover on Mars being the one constant thing in that, he notes. Spirit and Opportunity, also known by their former titles as Mars Exploration Rovers A and B, are well-equipped robot geologists. They each are outfitted with a 5-foot-tall camera top neck called a mast, along with rock grinding tools, scoops, and multiple spectrometers to suss out minerals and rock compositions. They were designed to last 3 months, and NASA sent 2, partly because the agency wanted to hedge its bets in case one didn't make it. No one on the engineering team or the science team had the foggiest idea that Opportunity would still be operating after 15 years. It's just a well-made American vehicle, says Ray Arvidsson, the mission's deputy principal investigator and planetary scientist at Washington University in St. Louis. Together, they totally changed everything we know about the planet most like Earth. Opportunity landed on Mars January 25, 2004, in a small depression called Eagle Crater, just 20 days after Spirit landed on the other side of the planet. Abigail Freeman was 15, obsessed with astronomy and Star Trek, and was at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory that night after winning a contest sponsored by the Planetary Society. It was awesome. When it sent back pictures from Eagle Crater, it was totally different from any pictures of Mars we had seen. There were these smooth dark sands that were just totally alien, she says. The scientists started saying, "Oh my gosh, there's bedrock, I see cross-bedding," and they were so excited. I was like, wait a minute, you can do this as a job? You can see that and look at these pictures and understand the significance of what it means. Today, Freeman is the rover's deputy project scientist, and until June, she spent her days working with engineers and scientists to design the rover's activities. After her night at JPL, she went on to study planetary geology in college and attended graduate school at Washington University, where she studied with Arvidsson. Many Mars geologists earned their doctorates under his tutelage. His office in the Earth and Planetary Sciences Department serves as an opportunity hub as well as the home of the Planetary Data System, which archives and distributes every piece of information U.S. robots have gathered from other rocky worlds. Washington University is Opportunity's spiritual home, in a sense, along with the mission control at JPL and the Rover Research Office at Cornell University. When Freeman took the job at JPL, the former lab director, Charles Elachi, encouraged her to draw a chart comparing her life with Opportunities. She marked milestones like high school graduation or earn PhD, along with Rover milestones like Rover finds gypsum and Rover reaches marathon distance. She still has the chart. You just see this rover there all along, and it really gives a sense of just how long this thing has been going, she says. The rover set the course of my life. Literally. On September 14, 2018, or Opportunity Sol 5204, that's 5,204 Martian days, which are slightly longer than Earth days. I sat with Arvidsson in his office as he worked on a scientific paper rounding up some of the rover's findings at its final resting place, which is near the rim of the Endeavour crater. Arvidsson and other scientists were debating on the nature of the delta-like feature they nicknamed Perseverance Valley. Because we never thought we'd get there. It might be a wind-carved, or it might be the work of water. The robot geologists have been trying to find out. Arvidsson says he is focused on the rover's legacy and described his feelings as philosophical. He is soft-spoken and deliberate, and a consummate scientist. But even he talked about Opportunity in anthropomorphic terms, explaining without any power she goes back to sleep and comparing its exploit with the travels of a favorite adventurous cousin. Weekly phone meetings between the scientists and engineering team at JPL kept everyone updated, but were also an excuse to stay connected to one another, like extended family, hovering over a sick loved one. Arvidsson had been here before. He has worked on every Mars mission since Viking 1, the first lander to send a photo from the surface of another planet, and watched many robots come and go. Most recently, Spirit, Opportunity's twin. Spirit lasted until March 2010, When it got stuck in a soft sandbed due in part to two broken wheels, it could not turn its solar panels toward the sun, which was slowly sinking on the winter horizon, and NASA declared the mission over in May 2011. During the 14-month wait, Mike Siebert, a former mission manager, would occasionally drive to JPL in the middle of the night, sometimes between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., hoping to hear a signal. My thought was, every time you did it, this could be the shift. You could get one tone back from that spacecraft, and suddenly you are in full high gear, he recalls. He continued working on Opportunity until June 2017, when he left JPL for a new job in Boulder, Colorado. Siebert and his wife were married 5 days after his final shift. They wanted to hold the wedding on the summer Saturday, so they picked June 10, Spirit's launch date. It will hurt to lose Opportunity no matter what, but it's the most successful surface mission ever, period, he says. When contact was lost, it was killing me to not be there trying to figure it out. How do we restore contact? The most I can do if I happen to be in Pasadena is to buy some beer for my friends.